really, really, really internally upset right now. Just have a lot of I don't know, just really internally upset. And I know that's a weird term to use, but today is like one of those days where it's just like I just can't, you know, I just can't anymore. I just can't with crazy people, crazy stuff. It's just, you ever find, or like either yourself or just with other people, you know that you constantly see that either yourself or somebody else is constantly going through these like same cycles, like it's like regardless of wherever they go, there seems to be some like type of issue. And I know how that is because I used to be an individual like that. And I guess there's still some of that there because it's not as prevalent as it was in my earlier years, but there's a type of energy, especially if you do not keep it under locks, there's a type of energy that you can essentially put out that, you know, keeps attracting trouble towards you. And you know, I do a lot of like, you know, inner development and, you know, inner recollection of, you know, what I can do to better myself. But then also at the same time, I'm very giving and I do care about other people. And sometimes you get to a point where just because you care a lot about people doesn't mean that people care that same great deal about you. And so even though you do whatever you can to, you know, be of assistance to people, try to be that guiding light and whatever else, sometimes you get pulled into some of the drama and some of the stuff that they're in without even noticing, and then before you know it, shit basically hits the fan and you're screwed. And you're not even screwed from anything that you did. It's like you're screwed because you were just happened to be in association with another individual who had a shit ton of other stuff going on that, you know, you knew nothing about. So that's essentially what today's been like. As life always ends up reminding me, is that life has a tendency to change on you at all times. Like, it doesn't matter what your social status is, doesn't matter, you know, where you come from, your cultural background or whatever else. Life just does shit. And it's no respect. Doesn't care about your gender, doesn't care about anything. It's just basically life's gonna throw some shit in your face and you essentially have to figure out how to deal with it. And over the years, you know, I used to be a very, like, I wouldn't say angry individual, but I used to get upset very easily over a lot of things, especially since the fact that, you know, I am a person that is very giving. I am a person that's very supportive. And, you know, after so much time, when you get stabbed or you feel like you're betrayed or whatever, it's like you sit there and you're just like, dude, like, what the fuck? But with everything that happens in life as I get older, and I don't know if it's just, it comes with age or like what it is, but it's just like as I'm getting older every situation, instead of me like flipping shit or whatever and kind of like, you know, going to extremes to you know, just going through or going to the extreme to I don't know, have a conniption fit about it. Essentially, I kind of sit back and it's like, okay, you know, what do we learn in this situation? And I think I'm just getting to this point in life where it's just like I really have to learn how to focus on myself. And that's, I think that's been like a background theme to my life over these last couple of months, where it's just like I need to focus on myself, and I need to focus on, you know, my fiance, and just really just get our, instead of focusing so much energy, instead of putting so much energy into, I'm not saying that helping people is wrong or whatever, but instead of like, I don't know, instead of being focused on other people so much, I think it's just like we just need to focus on ourselves, because at the end of the day, no matter how much you give and no matter how much you do, like at the end of the day, you're still gonna end up being stabbed in the back, you know? And especially if you're not watching out for yourself. But another thing I just kind of want to bring up is that we're energetic creatures, meaning we carry energy, all right? And that energy, whether it's through your thoughts or whatever, whether it's negative or positive, it has manifestations, you know. It manifests in many ways. So if you have negative thoughts and negative tendencies and negative whatever, that's going to be constantly, you're going to attract those issues, you're going to attract those type of people or whatever. I always tell people that in order to cut out the drama in your life, and this is, once again, this is speaking from, you know, personal experience, in order to cut out the drama in your life, you need to cut out some of the shit that you know, you do yourself, some of the negative thinking, some of the toxic habits that you have, that you developed. Because until you recognize that shit in yourself, you're gonna keep attracting that stuff to you. And you really, a lot of people are very quick to do the whole victim standpoint, where it's just kind of like everybody is trying to screw me over, you know, or it's like me against the world, or, you know, whatever else. And it's just like everything's a two-sided coin, you know. There's always a common denominator in something. And even if you aren't intentionally trying to do something negative, or trying to cause harm to yourself or to other people, there could be and I apologize, I suck at talking. I'm a better writer, but I just felt like I needed to speak this. But basically, there's a common denominator to everything, and usually you are the common denominator in a lot of situations or things that happen in your life. And when you keep popping up in the same circumstances, or you keep popping up in the same whatever's, it's basically kind of like the universe saying, you know, why do you keep coming back to this place? Why are you here again? And your job as being somebody who has a brain and has the ability to critically think and analyze is to kind of figure out, you know, what the issue may be. And when we're constantly blaming others, and when we're constantly you know, blaming the whole, oh, life's not fair and like whatever else, then, you know, we miss the point of, basically we miss the learning point of what is going on. So you see these people, and even you can easily be sucked into this, because even if you're watching out for yourself, you know, if you're caring for a friend or like whatever else, and you're not fully watching, which is kind of the situation that my fiance and I are in, you know, we were kind of just doing our own thing, but because we were joint or associated with somebody else, we kind of got pulled into this whole like whirlpool of like crazy shit. You know, even when you're not like watching, or I don't know, I can't explain it, but essentially your thoughts and what you do behind closed doors, in here and whatever else, there are manifestations for that, you know. It affects everything, you know, in your life. And in order to cut that out, you have to recognize, you can't sit there and play the denial game. You have to recognize that there are issues that either you have with yourself, or there's issues that you have with other people, or whatever it is. You have to come to a common ground, to a honest point, and just be like, you know, this is an issue. This is what keeps bringing me back to this point. And then you have to start figuring out ways to actually fix that. Because if you just sit there and you just completely go into denial and just be like, oh, I don't have these issues, like it's everybody else, it's not me, then you're going to keep wounding up in the same circumstances. So with that being said, my fiance and I ended up in a situation that you know, we weren't exactly expecting to end up in, because essentially we moved in with the idea that, you know, we were helping somebody and that person was also helping us out and whatever else. We basically became roommates with an individual. You know, we paid our part of the rent, whatever else. We took care of our own stuff, and now we ended up in some crazy ass eviction process that we didn't even know about. Essentially, the individual that we were rooming with, I guess had other problems or whatever's with the apartment complex that they were with. There's a lot of other deeper things that were involved in the situation that I guess, you know, we're not gonna really know about. But it went a lot deeper than what we knew. And because we were just associated, we also ended up facing the consequences. So this person was evicted, and because we lived with them, we were also evicted because of that. So right now, you know, we're homeless, me and my fiance. So that's lovely. Yeah. And it's just a reminder that we just really have to focus on ourselves and just really, like, just stop giving so much to people, and just stop trying to watch out for other people and whatever else, because at the end of the day, they may or may not watch your back or watch out for you. But I make it a point to cut drama and things of problem out of my life, just because I hate drama. I don't like to be around it. And I guess that's the thing that, you know, we're just gonna have to stick to and just really fight for. Because as I said, like, this situation literally happened like out of nowhere. And as I said, life doesn't care. Like, one day you're okay, the next day life throws some shit in your face, and it's just like, there you go. And it's like, oh, really? That's nice. But it's a learning experience. Everything that happens to you is a learning experience, and this is just something, once again, it's just a reminder of you need to take care of yourself, and just really need to branch out and just do things on your own with the person that's, you know, been walking with you for, you know, my fiance and I have been together for 7 years, and we've just us by ourselves have managed to get ourselves through a lot of like crazy stuff, but yeah, this year 2017 seems to be a year of stripping. I don't know if I'm the only one going through that, but it just seems like the universe is ripping a lot of shit away. And I think from an outside perspective is kind of like, you know, oh shit, your life sucks. But then from an inside perspective, I have this like weird ass peace, which kind of freaks me out, because as I said, I'm used to, you know, years prior, I'm used to having, you know, flipping the fuck out, like not sure like what to like do with myself or whatever. But now I'm just kind of like, okay. It's not like I've given up or I don't care. It's just that I'm not freaking out as much, because I guess really I'm not freaking out at all, even though our situation does suck. But I don't know, I guess there's hope or whatever I got bullying in here, but it's just I'm at peace, and I'm at peace because at the end of the day I know who I am. I know what my abilities are. I know what I'm capable of doing, and I've survived a lot up to this point, and so has my fiance. So it's just kind of like, all right, you know, so now we just kind of have to, you know, figure out exactly where to go from here. But I guess from here on out, we're just going to be like extra discerning on who we let in our lives and just who we associate ourselves with, just to make sure that whatever progress that we are trying to make going forward is not hindered in any way. Because now we're at this point where we worked up so far and we got to a certain point, and then it's just kind of like it completely just gets ripped away from you and it disappears in like a split second. So yeah, discernment, really just discerning, you know, who you're associating yourself with, why you're associating yourself with these people, and just really trying to find those people that are on the same soul level as you and have the same mindset, and just really trying to stay focused. Because once again, there's two sides to every story, there's two sides to every coin, and there's always something that can be done. There's always something that can be fixed. There's never really a situation where, I mean, maybe there is, but usually in every situation, in hind's view or hindsight, you can kind of look back and be like, I could have did this differently, or I could have went this way instead of going that way. You know, there's always something that you could have did differently in a situation to kind of change it. But then at the same time, sometimes the universe sets it up to the fact that it forces you to go down that particular pathway, possibly to strip you of things that you no longer need, things that are no longer serving you. And I think this has kind of been a theme for this year, where it's just like my fiance and I are constantly going through this process where we're constantly being stripped of people, jobs, situations, and like whatever else that I guess it's not helping us like in any way. And maybe that's why I do feel as peaceful as I do. But if you, of all my ramblings here, if you get anything out of this message, it's the message of, in order for your life to go within a positive direction, you have to constantly self-reflect. And that means you have to constantly put the mirror to yourself and see what things that you personally need to work on, and what things that you're personally doing within your own quiet space, within behind closed doors, within your own mind. What are some things that you can change and work on? Because as I said, all of that has effects. You know, it ricochets. You know, it vibes. Whatever vibes you give off, it you know, attracts those kind of those same vibes like around. So, you know, if you have negative thoughts about yourself, or negative thoughts about people or situations, or if you don't know how to see the positives in situations or whatever, that can have, you know, it can have negative effects on you. And it can cause a lot of extra issues or whatever. But there are situations where people are legitimately victims, and then there are situations where if it's something that is a constant theme in your life, then you're no longer the victim. You're kind of the person that keeps putting yourself there, and eventually you're gonna have to come to that face-to-face conversation with yourself, like, what the fuck am I doing to keep putting myself here? And you're really gonna have to analyze the people that you're around, and analyze how you're doing things yourself, to kind of catch that one thing that could be possibly putting you there. And I think it's just one of those situations where the person that we were connected to, they're a great person. I mean, they have a great spirit, great personality, whatever, but I think there's some self-denial, and there might be a lot of toxic things that they're doing in here and behind closed doors, that are constantly, it's replaying this particular theme in their life. And not only, you know, is it replaying in their life, but essentially anybody who's associated with them kind of gets pulled in. And unfortunately, because we were so close, we were physically close, and we just came into this person's life at a weird time, that we kind of got the short end of the straw, like times 2. So yeah, so this is kind of weird. I don't know, but yeah, self-growth requires you to have that conversation with yourself in the mirror. I mean, that's not something, that's a metaphor. I mean, you don't physically have to get up in front of a mirror and have a conversation with yourself. However, you do need to analyze your life and your actions and whatever. You have to constantly analyze those and make sure that you're always putting yourself up for success and not failure. Making sure that everything that you do is going to have a positive impact on yourself and also the people that are around you, because everything that you do, whether you think so or not, does have an effect on everything around you, you know. So yeah, so anyway, wish me luck. I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of these the next couple of weeks, so yeah. Anyway, ciao.